13 U.S. service members and 95 Afghans were killed in two separate bombings yesterday.
The attack on Kabul airport came as no surprise.
Stay away from Kabul airport, as terrorists could launch an imminent attack.
The BBC is quite good at predicting things.
On the latest building collapse in New York.
They reported the collapse of Building 7 on September the 11th, half an hour before it had even happened.
It's almost a sense downtown in New York, behind me, down by the World Trade Centers, of just an area completely closed off as the rescue workers try to do their job.
Maybe the BBC again had some inside information, and the attack is being attributed to ISIS-K, who sound like a special terrorist outfit. They are, of course, the branch of ISIS in Khorasan, which is a region that refers to large parts of Central Asia, including Afghanistan and Iran and those sort of areas. And that is who is being blamed for the attack. And of course, there were American casualties. It was an attack on Americans. But ISIS-K are not an ally of the Taliban. They would be a rival for power in the region. So we have to ask questions about who ISIS-K are, about who was behind this. It's not unthinkable that it could have been a false flag attack, but a false flag attack for what? To give an excuse to go back into Afghanistan and be gluttons for punishment and waste another 20 years?
We will hunt you down.
He sounded very much like George W. Bush shortly after 9/11.
And to find those folks who committed this act.
Isn't the way to prevent further attacks on American citizens in the Middle East and Western Asia to get out of there and not go back, not be a target and not instigate trouble in the region, and stop causing the mass exodus of refugees? A lot of people are upset about the prospect of having to look after more refugees from this part of the world. Well, if you don't want refugees, you need to stop bombing other countries and creating refugee problems. But often the political parties who seem most compassionate, most lenient towards refugees and wanting to look after refugees and have their best interests at heart, actually create the most refugees, actually destroy these countries more. Now, over the past 50, 60 years, the United States of America has been a war machine. But actually, the Democrats have been responsible for more wars than the Republicans. That might seem unexpected. And the cuddly, compassionate, refugees welcome, liberal, Democrat Party in America have actually created more refugees by being responsible for more invasions. If we put Iraq to one side, which was George W. Bush and the coalition of the willing, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, before that even President Kennedy was in Vietnam, and Afghanistan has turned out to be Joe Biden's Vietnam. It could nearly have been Donald Trump's Vietnam, and you can decide who you blame for what's happened after 20 years. But the fact is, America have been pushed out of Afghanistan and the Taliban are back in control. But alongside them, there are other Islamist factions vying for control, other rivals such as ISIS-K. And I just wonder if there might be, as there was in the past in, for example, Syria, the process of my enemy's enemy is my friend, and arming and training rival factions to go and topple someone. And that, of course, backfired, because when ISIS became too extremist even for Al-Qaeda, And ISIS began as a faction within Al-Qaeda, and then they became too extreme. I wonder, might we have this case where the West will arm and train a rival faction to go and topple someone and end up regretting it when they realise that that new faction is even more extreme, more bloodthirsty than the enemy that they were trying to topple. So what will America do in Afghanistan, and will they look to delegate the task of toppling the Taliban? Who might they choose? Will it be ISIS-K? Or how about the moderate Syrian rebels? Well, I know who I think they should send, because if you're in trouble, if no one else can help,
And if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.